So, hello everybody, and welcome back to Simulation Section. It's me and more central, that plucky northerner, back on the Simulation Section channel, once again to do some more virtual bus driving. So I thought for this OMSI 2 video, I was like, oh, what should I have a look at? What should I do? And I was sort of torn between a few ideas. And I eventually came to the conclusion that it might be quite a good idea, it might be something exciting if we take another look at the Westcountry demo that was given to me by my very good friend IMX as part of his development of Westcountry. IMX has been working on the Westcountry map ever since I first found out OMSI 2 existed, long before I ever got my hands on OMSI 2 and started driving it. The Westcountry has been an absolute staple of UK OMSI 2 content. It started off in the right path. It's made its way through from the 35, through development from the UK development team into a small network around Paignton. And in this next upcoming update, it is taking to the underground and taking to the busways for a bus rapid transit system focused around this pulse service for now, with expansions coming soon, which runs from the park and ride via the hospital into the city centre and uses Bendy buses. The UK Bendy buses really have been neglected and we've never really had any routes for them, and this now fits the bill. So we are driving with the B8RLEA, so a Bendy bus version of the B8RLE. This is a vehicle that you can get as part of the Veiling pack. I don't know why I forgot what it was then, I'm going to be honest. You can purchase it as part of the Veiling pack, so when you get the Veiling pack you get this as well. And this is a vehicle that people do tend to forget about in that pack. You've got a lot of people using the B7RLEs, but there is also the B8 set up like this. Like you can use sort of like what they use in Lothian for the East Coast buses. I believe it's East Coast buses. So it is like a sort of standard rigid version with this bodywork on, with the stealth bodywork. But there's also the Bendy bus. There's two variations, one with 2 doors, one with 3. The one that's being used for this Pulse network is the 3 doors. Now, for those that have already watched the previous 2 videos I did on this, I'm not going to delve too much into sort of like the delivery and the background and stuff, because we did that last time. I will basically say that this is very similar to the B network now, so the sort of Westcountry buses aren't sort of just a council-run company, and they're franchised out, so this is operated by Stagecoach South West. I'm going to do another run with the Bendy. As you can see, I did say before that I might take a rigid bus on here, but I thought I'll take another Bendy on. And if people are interested, let me know in the comments, and we'll take a rigid single deck around here and see what the difference is like. For now though, we are going to get ourselves set up because we are due out very shortly. So what I do also like about this is it's a Bendy bus, but it's a Bendy bus with the modern technology. So you've got camera mirrors, which are really cool, and you've sort of got that feel that you are driving like a B8. Having driven the B8 Evoras, it gives off that sort of same vibe, which is really nice. Now I also thought it'd be cool to have a drive of the Bendy bus in OMSI, because my most recent video on the main channel, if everything goes to plan and I haven't rescheduled things, is driving a Bendy bus. So in the most recent video I am driving a Bendy bus, so I thought it would make enough sense for me to drive a Bendy bus on here and just have a little bit of a chat further about Bendy bus driving and stuff like that. If you haven't already, I don't think they're getting on, I think they're just wondering. There we go. So So I just thought it'd be cool to have a little drive at Bendy bus on here. I was going to drive a Merc, but I was like, well, I've driven enough. I've had enough Merc Bendy bus driving in real life for a bit now. I was like, I don't want to drive one of them in the virtual world as well. Not many people can say that nowadays. I will be honest, not many people can. But like, well, I've had enough of driving Bendy buses in real life now. So that's quite a unique thing for me to be able to say. What I wouldn't mind doing is taking this Bendy and possibly the Merc one on a few routes and bits and bobs that we haven't sort of previously done with Bendy buses. That might be quite cool. So if you do have any suggestions and bits like that, please do let me know, and I'll be quite excited to hear them and see what suggestions you've got for what route we could attempt to Bendy bus with, using real life skill and knowledge and hope. I feel like it should end with hope. So a reminder that this map is currently a work in progress. It is not the finished product. There may be things that you see throughout this video which are not 100% perfected. There may be things you see in this video which don't look right, or things that look like they need finalising and bits like that. And that is because this is a work in progress map. So this does not represent the final product. This is merely a little bit of a taster for us, for me to show you all what is going on with the next update of the Westcountry. So I don't know at the moment how many of the routes are going to feature Bendy buses and articulated vehicles, but I do know that this will be an articulated bus route when available. I don't know if this is going to be the only route they're aiming to release, or if they're going to be adding other services. I don't quite know yet. I think it's very much just a case of get this done and then see what happens. There is no release date, as I say, so I can't turn around and go, oh, it'll be released then, or look out for it at this point, because there is no release date yet. There is still many bits and bobs being finalised with it, many things are still wanting to add, and many things are still wanting to make sure we're alright. What I do like about this is it gives off the vibe of an old map I used to drive called B8RLEA. I never was able to pronounce it correctly. No one ever corrected me, but I was never able to pronounce it correctly. And that sort of used Bendy buses, and as they came out of this fictitious German city, it was all bus rapid transit system. So we did a visit to an underground like U-Bahn station for like a subway station. We saved a couple stops underneath. Then we went sort of over like land and sort of this bus gate just pushed through like everything else. So it sort of gives a vibe between that and the likes of what you find on the Fairham to Gosport busway, a little bit what you find with Luton minus the guideway section. Those sorts of vibes, it's all of that sort of put together, which is really nice. There is a video coming out very soon from my experience on the Fairham to Gosport busway system, so you'll be able to compare what you see here with that. I wouldn't say this is too far off what that's like. The only difference with that is it is genuinely just one straight road. It's an old railway track bed, so it is literally just one straight road. It is quite bizarre that you can pretty much see for miles and miles down the road. But it does sort of give off that vibe. It's a few places sort of put together. But what I do like about this is you sort of have that bus gate, but then just as these things are, how they are in real life, it sort of just pings out somewhere really random. So it just pings out in the middle of this housing estate, like the edge of the estate and edge of town. Like it used to be an old railway, or would just cut through some old farmer's field sort of thing. So it does have that sort of really cool vibe to it. And the next thing you know, we're crossing over, we're in the hospital, and then they've dug us out some more BRT sections to take us into Payton Centre. time. We are bang on time, but there's just nobody here. So let me just... Someone going to a theatre, they've got one person. I was like, let's just double check when definitely not leaving anybody behind. Oh, does someone want to jump off? And I just totally ignored them. Oh, there we go. Everybody that was already on the vehicle has alighted. Oh, what's going on today, but... You crossing over? No, you just walking past the crossing, making me think you're crossing over. Epic. It would help if I actually drove further enough forward so that it could pick me up. That would help. Now, thanks to IMX, I do have my new Zoomy in tool. So I did get a screenshot in this exact position last time, but I kind of want another one where I've got the zoom in on it because this looks cool. This does look cool. And I do feel like a screenshot like this really does give it all away. Like you've got the sort of bollard in the background. You've got the clear signage to indicate that it is like a BRT system. You've got the CCTV cameras that you'd have for if a car tried to get through. So it's all that set up. And then what I do like about this is because all the bridges and bits are just short enough to not be able to not be able to use Decker. So it's this idea that you've got to use a Bendy bus on here alongside the Decker. I will do another run, possibly in the next OMSI video, possibly the one after. And we'll take a little bit of a drive, as I say, in a rigid vehicle. It'll still have to sort of be something modern. I feel like if I try to use the Renown or something on here, I will get judged. So it still has to be something relatively modern. But we'll have a little compare with that, just to see the difference in performance and bits like that. Although I will emphasise that I was told that this route is not made for normal vehicles. It isn't made for normal buses. So, as I say, it is a Bendy bus thing. That's why I've sort of used Bendy buses so far. This looks really cool. I really like the zoom in screenshots. And it's always nice when you've got a sort of bus prior to traffic light which works. They can be very far and few between in OMSI. Sometimes they like to work, and sometimes they very much don't. I'm also doing incredibly well for time. Oh, I'm getting off. I mean, I think I literally just have one person on and they're not moving, so I'm going to take that as a solid no. This does compare to the last video I did. I don't think I've changed my people settings that much, but it just seems that we just have an incredibly quiet run. No complaints, because it does mean that we can sort of see it from a different perspective, which is why I do really like sort of doing a couple of videos on the same route, sometimes even with the same buses like we've done now, just because you see things that you wouldn't usually see, and it's just nice to have that contrast. It really, really is. Because you sort of get a different perspective on things, like a slightly different take, which I'm never complaining about. It's always good to have a different perspective on things. And then what I really do love with this bus station is the fact that it is an old bus station on the other side, but it's been retrofitted with these more modern bays to sort of signify like this particular route with the articulated buses. So it's sort of just been given its own standalone bay. Like stuff like Fastways. If you go down to somewhere I can't remember the name of. Gravesend, I think it is. Gravesend, that was that? I'm sure it was. Where they sort of had the main bus station and then a dedicated area for the fastway buses, like the fast track buses, I think they're called, fast tracks. So they sort of had their own dedicated area for them, which I thought was pretty cool. But you can obviously tell that they were sort of added at a slightly later date and put in the corner sort of thing. So this is that same vibe. Now, when we did this route last, IMX told me that it is semi-inspired off a bus station in real life. And I, for the life of me, still cannot guess which one that is. Like, it's sort of like on the tip of my tongue sort of thing, and I honestly cannot think. Like, I know that, having now been to it, Hatfield used to have sort of an undercover bus station, similar to this, but on a much smaller scale. So I do know that because that bus station's now out of use, and is used as a car park, they just randomly decided one day they weren't going to use it anymore. So it sort of gives that vibe off. I never went to Northampton bus station, but I know that's slightly undercover. Worcester is slightly undercover, but I think that's a bit like totally different scale compared to this. So I do possibly think it's a bus station I haven't been to, but it just gives off such a cool vibe. It's a very sort of 60s, 70s style build where they sort of built new area, like when they sort of like were reconstructing the reconstruction period. Even post-war was like 60s and 70s, and when they were building new towns and things like that, they sort of built shopping centres, bus stations underneath, offices, bus stations underneath, and it very much gives off that vibe. Oh, why indicate left and then dive straight across in front of me? Come on. There's a tree there. I wanted a really nice panoramic view, and then it's like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm driving. The same issue I had when I was driving the lovely Scania N94 UA articulated bus. Exactly the same problem, where unfortunately when you are driving the vehicle, you cannot enjoy it like from an enthusiast perspective, because you do have a lot of responsibility in driving. So you can't sort of see yourself driving around. And the problem with that was I was the main driver for the day on it, so I didn't get the opportunity to see anybody else driving it, which was really annoying, because it would have been nice to sort of get some nice clips of it and nice videos of it going past. But when I jumped off it, and it was parked up for a little bit, I then looked when it went out with someone else for a little bit, and it started raining, and I was like, well, that ends that then. That is that bit of excitement over and done with. I was like, I'm not standing in the rain and getting a photograph of this, I merely cannot be bothered. I do have a feeling that we just missed these lights. What I did also like about the Bendy bus, the fusion-bodied Scania, was the indicator chirp on it wasn't a Scania chirp, it was a Volvo chirp from like the B7 like LA period, which although it wasn't a Volvo chassis underneath, it very much gave those vibes off, which was really nice. It would have been nice to see these made. I think it really would have been. I mean, the M on the side with Devon Metro, the M's from the sort of Bristol Westcountry Metro network, where they use double-deckers on that. I mean, corridors like that, for example, it would have been beautiful to see articulated buses on them. It really, really would have been. is a shame. I mean, you can understand why with the costings and the fact that they're non-standard, but the argument there is that Belfast has them. Belfast has the gliders, which every time I go about, like I've been to Belfast once, and every day I had free, I went round on the gliders. Like when I went, they still had ALX 400s in service and bits like that. I was like, no, 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 no. I am interested in going for a ride on the gliders because they're beautiful. They very much reminded me of the FTRs, like a sort of cheap slightly more basic spec ride street car. And they were very much that style, and I absolutely loved them. I thought they were amazing. Like really, like just the whole system that they have for the gliders there is amazing. I have made a video when I went to Belfast many years ago. That's really scary to think about. That's probably 3 or 4 years ago now. I don't actually want to think about that because that's really scary. But that long ago, there is a video on the channel, on the More Central channel. If you type in Belfast Gliders, probably Belfast Gliders at More Central, something like that, into YouTube, it will come up. Watch that video. You'll see a much younger me, younger and much less stressed me. Talking you through the gliders that they've run there, which, again, for the record, are absolutely amazing. Make sure that we slow down for this bollard, because if we don't, I do feel like we're going to cause a bit of a problem, which I don't really want to. So the clearance up to the front is 19 metres, which is good because we are 18 metres long, which does mean that you have to perch right on the end in order to not be stuck. Can you tell I've been driving Bendy buses recently? Can you tell? I just seem to like when I haven't driven them in real life for a while. When you drive in sort of simulator game, I do tend to forget. But because I have been driving them quite a lot recently, I'm very much just treating this. Yes, it's the virtual world, but I'm very much just treating this like I'm driving a real life one. Because let's face it, you're all here for the realistic experience. And then in the future, if you can send me some suggestions of routes you'd like to see me take this one and the Citaro G on, I am very much down for taking them on there and giving them a challenge as well. Please do not say Smarden. We tried that didn't work. That was optimistic and it didn't work. So please do say Maps, which we can get around. We can do and will work. So it is worth mentioning with this map as well, looking more towards the map itself that we're driving as we go through this lovely residential area again, that you can follow the progress of this map, I believe, on the work in progress development forums on Fellows Film. I will try and find them and link it in the description below, so if you are wanting to follow up on progress, you can have a look there. Have a look and have a nosy. Again, a big thank you to IMX who provided me with this map probably about a month ago, something like that. I have been meaning to revisit it after the initial 2 videos for quite a while, but we ended up getting distracted with various bits. We had a new AdStore project come about, we had an update for Lincolnshire, so we ended up getting slightly distracted. It's always the case where everything sort of appears at once. Like I think we're going through a period where we've not got too much going on right now, but I can very much guarantee that I should relax on early. I can guarantee that in sort of a couple of weeks' time we'll probably have a couple of more maps out, be it work in progress, be it releases. We'll have a couple more repaint packs out and bits, and we'll be busy again. But we always go through sort of lull periods, and then all of a sudden everybody releases things at the same time. Something else that's worth mentioning on this map, whilst we go around this bend, that is not something I've seen in other maps, even other maps that I have sort of driven bus rapid transit systems on. It's not something you see that much. It's very underrated, but it is something that you see on bus rapid transit systems. In order to allow a bus to go a bit quicker, and to get there quickly, because obviously there's going to be no cars in front, it's a private busway system. Turns like this tend to have cambers on them in order for the vehicle to remain at a certain speed and sort of gravity help to take it round the bend. This map has loads of them, as you have already seen. This is just one of them. This is another reason why I am impressed with this map, and it's something that would probably go rather unnoticed if you didn't really think about it too much. But as someone that loves bus rapid transit systems, that's why we are on this map again. It is something that I look at and go, yep, that's there intentionally. It's just not something you see that much, so it is really nice to sort of see it and appreciate it. So it's just really nice to have a UK map where you can drive this particular vehicle on. Yes, we've got the Mercedes G, but that's just a left path conversion. This is like, this was made and manufactured and built in OMSI 2 for use like this. Like this was built for something like this, and it's so nice that we've got this sort of thing now. I genuinely thought he was just going to step out then. I just saw it, just went ever so slightly over, and I was like, oh, please don't. We're doing so well. Please don't do that. It would have been so nice to have one of these. It would have been so nice. Having driven that Scania Bendy not so long ago, it would be really nice to have one of these as well. Because that Scania Bendy drove really well. I personally prefer driving that to the Mercs, to Mercedes Taro Gs. That Scania was gorgeous. I think it was just the fact that it was just simple, agile, and sort of had the Volvo set up with it. Sort of, it was like a bit of a Scania Volvo combined effort sort of thing. But it seemed to have the likes of like Volvo manoeuvrability and pleasantness to drive, which was really nice. I don't like doing that, but I'm gonna have to let them off right on the very end. Right in the very end there. So what we'll do is we'll get this parked up. Apologies, I've only just realised I didn't get the AI buses switched on for this. I was just like, oh, we've not passed anything. My apologies for that. I do still have vehicles installed and what have I just genuinely forgot to switch them back on. Because the last video and the last drive I did on here was AdStore, and as we all know with AdStore, for some reason the AI list just doesn't want to work for me. I think it's because I have a couple of vehicles I don't have installed at the moment, but it just doesn't like to work when I'm recording. So I was just like, just leave it and just make sure that we can actually do the videos that we intend to do and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll make sure it's switched on for the next video. In fact, I'm actually just going to switch it on now before I forget, because I'm well forgetting. I'm aware that it will have to be reset to work. So there we go. So that was a really nice drive around the Pulse service around Paignton in the new and upcoming Westcountry update. You can follow progress on this, I believe, on the Fellas Film forums. If I can find the thread on there, I will link it in the description below. Please do follow what they're doing with this and support it. The Westcountry map is a staple of UK OMSI stuff. Absolute staple. It has been around since the dawn of OMSI. IMX has worked incredibly hard on this map over the years. It has changed so much over time, and I do really like this new modern look, this new innovative sort of take on things, and this totally different perspective that we haven't seen in maps before for the UK side. A proper bus rapid transit system, something we've been missing for so long. So with all that said and done, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have done, then please do be sure to click that like button, as that way more people can find the video and enjoy it just like you have. And if you haven't already, then do be sure to subscribe to the Simulation Section YouTube channel for more content like this from the likes of OMSI 2, Train Simulator, and potentially other games I can get my hands on. Once again, thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video, mate. Bye for now. Bye!